Careful. It's time for Xannies.
I've never had a Zanny.
Neither have I.
No, me neither.
I don't know if I ever won a Zanny because it's called a Zanny. That's just me. As soon as someone gets like some sort of weird little name, I'm like, like is that Xanax or is that?
I like being zany.
Yeah, I like being zany too. I
think
think
that's
my
the opposite of what Xannies do.
What do Zannies
I
do?
think they put you to sleep.
oh, they put you to sleep.
Yeah.
I thought they make you happy.
Yeah,
I
I
thought
thought-
they're like an antidepressant.
Yeah, like the songs say "Pop another Zanny."
It does, but it also makes you very like I think if people want to sleep on or like chill on long flights or just be kind of like.
Oh, I see.
Now I see what you mean. If I go hear the audio, what if I hold it?
Oh, don't worry. It will pick it up. I'm a master editor. Oh, hey, we're doing something.
Hi.
Hey, everyone. This is episode 6.
Episode 6.
This is our guest, Houdini. Cazimi.
Cazimi Houdini.
Boing. I'm adding a cool effect for this for sure.
Yeah.
You're gonna
With magic.
Magic. It's that.
Or like, can you make me appear and disappear? That would be the ideal.
Have you seen that Shia LaBeouf meme where it goes like magic, and it goes like? See, I'm too into memes. That's the problem. Yeah, excited to have you here.
Hi.
What's up?
You know the format. We pretty much dive into the deep end right off the bat, which is our version of chill. You know.
Yep. Chill, no chill.
I'm gonna let Alex start
Yeah,
this
no, I
because
got the opening question.
he's the opener.
This is why this guy barely asked me any questions in the car. He's just saving it for right now, I guess. It's like he doesn't even know why I'm going to Greece. Like he's not even asking me more questions. Like what?
I feel like I asked. You talked the whole car ride.
There you go.
Hold on. And now you're gonna talk this whole episode. It's great. That's the point. That's my power.
Yeah, we're saving it for you, not for us. We got enough to say.
So first question. For perhaps even myself, but anyone watching that may not already have a fully fledged artistic practice or thing that they're into, what are the like first most simple steps someone could do to get involved with the arts and their creative side?
You're asking how someone might tap into their creative selves if they've never really?
Mm-hmm.
Huh. That's an interesting question to even try to answer because now I'm thinking about my own self and like how I began and whether that was even a conscious thought. I think the first thing I think of, honestly, it's not my process or practice, but like I think of the artist's way. I ended up at a house that I was cat sitting at that I came across that book again and was just rereading a few of the opening chapters and how it was talking about the lives that we currently live in this capitalist society has just like stripped away, especially like away from childhood, you know, as we become adults and have to adult in this world, get jobs and shit. Can I swear on the show?
You can say whatever you want.
And stuff like that. Shit like that. Yeah. I can't swear on my show, so I can swear on this show.
Let's go.
And that, you know, we end up like not having enough time to do fun, playful things like draw or like, you know, dance or create music or whatever. And so it's taken us further and further away from like the most like foundational elemental thing about our creative selves. And so the two things that Julia, you can find it and then put in the edit her last name, Cameron. Yep, found it. That she talked about was going on artist dates with yourself, as well as morning pages, like the ability to free write and let the stuff that's in your mind go. So I don't know. I wouldn't necessarily, I'm just quoting somebody else's like way of what she describes as recovery, like recovering your creative self and going through her program, which is this book, The Artist's Way, which is like her version of a creative recovery program. But yeah, I don't know. Let me think about that. What I would do personally. I definitely think like the artist date to me versus the morning pages is so impactful because that's something that I already do and do on my own all the time, is like take myself out to go experience art, parties, dance, events, exhibits, experiences, immersive stuff on my own in every place that I travel to, because I'm seeing what other artists and creatives are doing and I'm being inspired by that and I'm taking notes. And that act of like self-love and you know, that time where I'm like, I'm not being governed by anybody else's like time that I have to cater to except my own. I think it just becomes like that little spark for me to then think about what it is that I want to create.
And caveat for the audience, she has recently completed an immersive experience
Design certificate program
design certificate program.
with
Yeah.
Odyssey Works. Shout
Yes.
outs to Odyssey Works.
Yes. So that's a good thing for them to understand, to know the context of why you delve.
Yeah.
in
I
that
would
way.
I would also add to your question an answer of just like bring it back to childhood when like arts and crafts and like, you know, coloring and just playing is just part of your everyday life, and like that doesn't need to stop at childhood. Like I still have a whole bin in my office, actually in my desk. I have a whole bunch of art supplies and crafting supplies, and like, you know, when I got a new notebook for London because I'm going there next week. And even just making a title page, and inside I've written down like all the high fidelity like listening bars and stuff that I'm going to hit up. But the title page in and of itself is like creative, colorful writing with decorative stuff. And I've got markers that have stamps on the bottom of them. And I'm like, boop, 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 stars. Like just little things like that just evoke childhood fun and play, but also like that's even just a small bit of creativity and not taking it so seriously that it has to become anything.
That is playful.
That it's playful, and no one else is going to see it but me when I open up this book, and future me that's going to open up this book and see my title page, you know,
And be excited and feel something about it, and not just be a bunch of words. But when you see a bunch of colors, like, oh, this is how I was feeling, because the colors and the shapes that you were using were indicative of that.
And fun nostalgic markers with stamps.
Dollar store stickers.
Remember when they used to smell, like the ones that smell?
Oh, they always kind of smelled the same. Like there was a smell, but it never was really strawberries or peaches. It was just like,
it's toxic. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Strawberry 45.
Yeah, strawberry 45.
Peaches 36.
Yeah. With tartrazine.
Yeah.
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 Okay.
Did that answer your question?
Yeah, for the most part. I think I'm gonna focus it even more.
Sure.
Because, yeah, I guess this is coming from a place inside me. It's like when you have, or when you feel like you, I think even in scenes that I've been in, like in the exercise world or whatever, everyone throws around this idea of play. And I agree, but also sometimes I don't find it the most useful of words, because in many ways we have moved away from a lot of that. And then it's like someone giving you this thing and they're like, well, play. And you're like, but I've never, what do you mean? So I guess maybe I'm trying to touch on this idea of, maybe it's someone who works like a 9 to 5 and they have friends who are artists, they have friends who are doing whatever, or they go to a show and they get super inspired and they're just kind of like, how do I start to play without feeling like I'm trying to manufacture play? And to be fair, I don't know if there's always an answer to these questions. This is also just...
Yeah.
So you're saying, how does an artist give insight to someone who may not be as readily able to play, or the concept has faded a bit for them? How do you give them insight into finding that play? And you can relate it to your own experience, or you could come up creatively on the spot and be like, oh, well, I think I'm going to come back to childhood again. Like it's like tapping into your childhood self
and what aspects of that you want to revisit, and what aspects of that brought you joy where you didn't think about time, you didn't think about obligation or responsibility, um, and also like being outside. I think all of that is a way to not manufacture play, but to actually just like let it come to you, you know? I'm also just like such a support or a believer of like try everything, you know? Like I love trying new kinds of dance classes or art workshops or blah 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 whatever, and just being open to what might emerge and what you might discover about yourself through it. I think it's
Mm.
just being in a constant process of curiosity and discovery and openness, and being aware of judgments that are going on in your head and letting those judgments go, because no one else is doing that but you.
Yeah.
You know?
I feel like that is a huge key factor in folks who may not have that as an integrated part of their life, is that when they go to do said play, the first thing comes up is like, oh, like I don't want to do it in public. I'm going to do it in my apartment or in my shower. I'm going to sing in my shower. I'm going to like in my car, I'm going to do the weird thing. It's like, honestly, like I think if you can push past the barrier of hiding yourself, because that's essentially what that would be, is if you can get used to doing that in front of people, I actually think that the play will be easier, because when you were a kid, you weren't like, oh, what am I going to look like on the playground? You'd be like, hey, watch this. And you do a flip off thing and hit the thing. Or
Yeah.
girls would be like, you know, girls had their own version of that. Dudes, it was always like jumping and running and like some sort of feat. Whereas I found when I was young, like the girls had the most insane pictures I'd have ever seen. I'd walk around the classroom and be like, oh my God, like she'd have this butterfly with like 1,000 colors that she just spent like 2 hours straight. And I'd be inspired to be like, oh, I want to go. All my books are coloring. Like, and so I feel like people are going to walk around and see your thing. In life, people are going to see you. And I feel like that's all. This could go into deeper wisdom of like, honestly, I think you'll also just have more friendships, and people will find it easier to find their people, because they're like, oh, there's my people, someone who wants to play. Because that is like the secret. If I've learned any secret in life thus far, is like the more play you have in your life, the more ease, the less stress, and the more like you don't have to be an artist. Like creativity can be in anyone's life. Doesn't matter what job you do or what, you know, if you have kids, like you can, if you make time for it, there is a benefit.
That part, if you make time for it.
Yeah.
You know, the blessing of during living in the panini, the pandemi, the
panderies,
you know, the corn dream, living in the corn dream was, I was asking those questions and I was reclaiming parts of my childhood, which for me, that was music. And I played piano when I was a kid. And because my parents were so forceful about it, anytime they were pressuring me to do anything, it's in me to rebel. And so I quit too early on. And I realize now how impactful it is when you have the right teacher. And that teacher also was not the teacher for me. But during the corn dream, I reached out to my friend Nate, aka Astrological, one half of Potato Head People, incredible music producer, musician, multi-instrumentalist, and he taught me piano. And he taught me piano in a way that actually really spoke to me. We were learning chord progressions, and he also had the ability to see what I was naturally gravitating towards. And like, you know, one week it would be like, oh, I really can't stop listening to this song by Bobby Caldwell. And he's like, let's break it down. Let's figure out how to play it. And then he taught it to me. And then taught me just like the power of different chord progressions having different moods and feelings, and like putting rhythm onto it and then putting that together, and then you have a song. And then I found within myself like, oh, I have this natural ability to write songs. Like I actually, and I've written songs that no one will hear but him, because he's actually so nice and encouraging to hear them. But I have all these musician friends. I'm like, I'm not going to send it to my friends. It's but it's for me. And like the fact that I could do that, and I was like layering harmonies and writing things, like poetry became lyrics for songs. Like that became such a creative outlet that still to this day nothing else can take the place of when I'm feeling something and I'm able to translate that into writing a song that just needs to be expressed in the world,
Mm.
you know? And that's it. Like, bet y'all, whoever's watching this, who are my friends, probably didn't know that about me, and that's fine, because that's not for you. It's for me.
Hey, that leads me into a deeper thought. Do you have other prominent teachers in the last decade that have impacted you, and in what way have they impacted you?
Mm.
That really is like put you on the path that you're on now.
Ooh. Well, I have a new teacher, um, two of them, but really, like, I want to shout out Abe and Aiden, who are the co-directors for Odyssey Works. I especially want to shout out Aiden, who is the femme representation of this leadership duo, uh, because I felt very seen by her in terms of what I can contribute to this experience design cohort that I was part of. Um, but yeah, they've written a few books on experience design, and
Mm.
what they've been able to articulate about, you know, humanity, like in this meat suit, as you would say, and in this lifetime, all we have are experiences. Like, we don't remember the minute details of the things that we've lived, but we will always remember how they made us feel.
Mm.
You know, and so their approach to art making as this practice of, you know, asking this question, like, what would it be like to know our audience so intimately and so deeply that the art that we create is guaranteed to impact them, versus like you just create art and it's this open, you know, experience to people that will either get it or not, or that will, you know, just boost your ego and just show up for the grand open or the exhibition opening. And it's less about actually like, what is this art and experience meant to do?
Mm.
And like, what is the point of it? Like, what is the point of it in this life even? And for them to create from a place of like, our intention is to transform and is to like impact deeply, so that we as human beings could really look at ourselves and know our own selves and think about the interconnectedness of human life and community, and like contribute something that actually makes this experience as a human being like a little bit better, or makes the world a little bit more of a better place to be in, you know?
Hmm.
Yeah. Something they talk about in and is part of the process of designing, you know, an art performance for an audience of one, which is what Odyssey Works has been known to do, is that the way that they get to know their audience is much like falling in love, where you are
Ooh.
like interested in someone and like so curious to know so many things about them because you want to serve them and give to them,
Mm.
you know? And just that act of like what they call employing rigorous empathy is just an act of so much care that, like, I don't know, I'm just I'm totally delving from the actual question, but these are things that I've learned from
Yeah.
Aiden, from Abe, from
Mm.
their from Odyssey Works, and I'm like still integrating all of that.
Mm.
And I feel like I've found alignment with people who are actually creating with and designing experiences from an intention that I resonate with,
Mm.
versus right now the buzzword is immersive experiences.
Yeah.
I mean, life is freaking immersive, like, you know, so call everything an immersive experience, but what's the difference? Because some people are doing it for the money, some people are doing it to like push the envelope of VR, XR,
Mm.
and creative technology and blah blah blah, and other people, you know, are really in it to think about like, how can we employ these design principles to actually make the world we live in a better place.
And what is your message? What is the message that is all of this coming into your body and you wanting to give output. Obviously you want to make a living doing these creative things for people, but what is like the resounding message that sits in your body that you want to like deliver through this medium?
I want to help people feel free, like free to express themselves, to feel deep, profound sense of connection with themselves, with their community, with nature and the land and the place that we're in. And I know the mediums through which I will do that and have done that is through music, is through dancing, is through art. And the lower tech I can get and the more like higher natural tech I can get, the better.
I just love that word, natural tech. As soon as you say that, it's so many visuals in my mind. Do you find that there's a resurgence in culture of going, not, I don't want to say going back, but like reconnecting with nature and trying to integrate technology in a way that enhances what nature already does? Or do you find that that still needs to be pioneered?
I think that, whew, technology is crazy in 2026, y'all. I still think that the highest form and the most deeply impactful and transformational tech for somebody who is able bodied is going to be like nature, is going to be the trees, the mushrooms, the plants, and like no mitigation of anything else, devices, whatever. Again, I'm saying that as somebody who's able bodied because there are some VR experiences for those who aren't, that is allowing that, it's the bridge, and I think that's extremely powerful. But for myself personally, I am feeling that it's funny, like here I am talking about wanting to create experiences around music and dance and art and wanting to bring things back on, if we're talking specifically of the dance floor, like bringing it back to that culture of presence on the dance floor, no phones, no like recording. Like the moment that I started talking about that, and even like when I was party rocking on the mic and emceeing and doing that, now in the last year and a half, there's just so many of these graphic memes and memes and like educational posts on social media about that. And it's annoying to me.
Wow.
It's annoying to me because I'm like, I'm always with this question of like, are we just adding more to the noise by doing that? Or like, could we have these conversations in real life or somewhere else off of these platforms? But I also agree that because we're on these platforms, this is one of the first access points of learning about something or being exposed to information and being educated. So it's this catch-22 always, where I'm really trying, and we were just talking about this before the call about how you're playing with these effects that Gen Alpha is like taking it back to stuff that we grew up in.
Yeah, it's low tech now, but it was high tech then.
Yes, yeah. Of like our era of Windows Movie Maker and what we were playing
MySpace
with.
And all the like
yes
pages with little like low grade quality effects.
Yeah, stuff that was, and even just how all of us knew basic HTML coding because we wanted to make cool websites for our MySpace or Asian Avenue or whatever.
Yeah.
But anyway, I feel like as somebody who is a millennial who lived before like smartphones and when social media was even invented and blah, 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 that I'm trying to like go back to a hybrid lower tech life. Like I got a flip phone 2 weeks ago. And I'm even just the practice of having a flip phone is making me realize how hard it is to live without a smartphone now. I was like, and because it's a flip phone that I got with my provider, so I can switch my SIM card, and it has very minimal things like email, blah blah. I don't even use it for that. I'm like, shit, this is just for text and calls. I want to go back to people calling me again.
Is
right?
it the alphabet one or the one like where one is ABC?
Yeah, it's T9.
Oh,
it's
dang.
T9.
Okay.
And T9, kids, is not a sexual position. Just so you know. And I'm realizing, I'm like, oh, I'm out there in the world, do whatever. And then I was like, oh no, I forgot to look up the address for that thing. So I'm like, called Jamal. I was like, hey, can you check on Google Maps and tell me the address of, is it like to the west side or the north side of Canby Street? It's like, okay. And then hang up. And then I realized, like, oh no, the bus is not running anymore. So how do I get home? Usually I take an Evo. I can't book an Evo.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh my gosh, my life is so integrated now with the smartphone.
Yes.
It's annoying, but also like
convenient.
And that's like, when did all these regular things become inconveniences? And these are the questions I ask myself now of like, these more convenient things are like also, I feel, changing my cognitive abilities.
Yeah.
You know?
We are all cyborgs. The actual definition of a cyborg is a human integrated with technology. We're all cyborgs.
We're actually cyborgs
We're
now. That's
smarter
crazy.
with technology, period. Our consciousness is coming together in a way that it's never come together before. Like when you think of like, say, like ChatGPT or Wikipedia, or these like communal things where information can be shared and gathered. It can also be like search memes from 2016. Like you can use it for bullshit. You can also use it for not just streamlining and making your life easier. Like I search up recipes. That's a huge part of what I use it for. I'm like, hey, can you show me 3 different recipes for tzatziki? I want to learn how to make like a creative, and then I'll look at that and be like, oh, I'm going to kind of do this in my own way. But it gives me insight. And so we never had that before. And yes, I don't need that. But at the same time, can you show me the best recipes from 1912? You can find the best. I don't have to go to the library. I can save time. So it's crazy because you can save time and you can streamline your life.
Yeah.
Which I talk about a lot with people. One of my preachings is like, yes, you should learn technology and understand it. And of course you can streamline your life, but also do hard things.
Yes.
I go sit in a river in December. People think that's crazy. I'm like, no, it's the smartest. It's not crazy. It's actually the most rational. I need to remember that life can be hard. That out in the woods, a bear can eat me and that I can die of starvation. I can freeze to death. I need to remember that my body is resilient. So I purposefully do hard resilience training for myself. But then I also use a computer to edit this episode. I, will watch a TV show that I really enjoy. I don't have a TV. So if I'm going to watch something, I spend that time very specifically. So I go back and forth all the time because as you know, like we spend a ton of time in nature, more than the average person in the city for sure. And that's part of my resiliency is like be connected to nature, do this. But also when I come here, like I don't want to like go to the library, rent a recipe book, but I can just okay, that's what I want to cook. Oh, that's a good idea. Okay, I'm gonna go this, and I can go right to playing. So,
well, and what's fun is that you can make that choice, right? Just like how I'm making the choice that today is going to be flip phone day.
Yeah.
And I'm going to look up on maps where I'm going, and I'm going to rely on public transportation. I'm going to rely on talking to people and asking them for directions. Actually, it's funny. Larissa and I said to each other that we want to do a trip together where all we're relying on is like flip phone life, asking people using physical map.
Bring the physical route.
Yeah, exactly. And do a trip like that, very low tech, or like
that's fun.
Or what I'm saying is like take it back to the 90s, like take it back to the technology of like the late 90s, early 2000s, and just rely on that.
Which was amazing, but amazing in retrospect, nostalgic mentality.
Yes.
Because you can't go back to the 90s.
Yeah.
Time continues to roll forward. Maybe it's cyclical. I don't know. Like we're going to just say time is a mystery. But, these epochs, 70s, 80s, 90s, the 2000s was weird. The 2010s is but they're all different periods that you can go back and play that game, but you'll never be able to play the 90s.
Yeah,
The 90s wasn't trying to be back in time. It was trying to be future.
that's true. And now everything right now is trying to be kind of back in
Yeah.
time.
Which I
It's
think that
funny.
culture goes in cycles like that too. So that's also
It's
an
true.
interesting observation. And like, yeah, now try traveling without a smartphone. Go to London, go to Greece, go to these places. Bring a
Bruv.
physical map and don't have a SIM card to check up the bus schedules or like basic language translation. You know, like just simple things like hello, blah, like, or even going, I'm looking for this restaurant, and it says it in their language. Like, those are crazy conveniences that make life so much easier. Like if you're going to Tajikistan or you've been to some insane places, and
But I didn't use it a lot.
no, you
get by.
Yeah,
especially when you're hungry. Especially when you're traveling and you're hungry, you'll get there. You'll figure it out.
You'll figure it out. Yeah.
But also, like, I don't think any of humanity should fault yourself with like being attracted by the shiny new thing. That's what our brains are built for. We would gobble it up. Sometimes to our own detriment. I think many of us are realizing that, like, oh, okay, this sword cuts both ways. And even that note you were saying with AI or online, like learning about cooking, I was doing that for a long time and learned a ton of cool new things. And then I sat there for like a week without it, and I was like, actually, I kind of knew all of this. I was asking questions that if I just like sat with it long enough, I knew the answer. I could be like, well, what do I think is in a tzatziki? What have I had? That last restaurant I went to, what do I think was in it? What did it taste like? And then I'm accessing memory and I'm accessing my own like intuition and wisdom, and I can be like, well, I'll just try to recreate that. Like I'm doing that now. My grandparents have passed on, and I'm trying to make a bunch of Portuguese food, and like, I don't know, last time I had it was years ago.
Yeah.
My mom doesn't cook, and yeah, I played around online a little bit, but I usually like, I don't know, I'll watch a video like once, and then I'm like, I don't want to be on my phone in the kitchen. I hate being on my phone in the kitchen.
I know.
So you have the answers probably, but also like, it's okay to look and it's okay to get help and get some inspiration from the etherverse.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like my taxes this year, I've done them right thanks to all the questions I've asked the ChatGPT. You know?
Because there is always a harder way to do these things. I remember I've had people like, oh, you don't need to use ChatGPT. You could do it the hard way. And I'm like, oh, you take the bus to work? You should just walk.
Exactly.
Like it breaks down real quick.
Real quick, yeah.
But as to what Kazi was saying, it's like you do have a choice. And there's always going to be a spectrum of people choosing. There's still people who are choosing to live off grid and just like, do it that way. And then there's people who are living in cities and like, I don't know, everyone's got to find their own unique manifestation in that way.
I think the balance is key though, like what you were saying, making sure you have time to be in nature to balance out living in the urban city. It's the same with like the relationship technology is like having the balance of being on screen and being off screen, being on your phone and being off your phone. Like, or I know right now I use the AI tools to help me with copy editing with a lot of like so much work that I have to do to exist in this capitalist society. If I had all the time, then I wouldn't need it, But I'm like, this is helping me to handle more workload, right? To make more money because I have to. It's annoying. But here we are in the world we live in. But I need to balance that out with creative writing, And that feeds a part of my soul and keeps a part of my brain sharp. And so I think about that a lot. I'm like, if I'm tapped in this way, what am I doing to balance it so I don't lose these things like how my brain works? Cognitive decline is happening, y'all. And it worries me for the next generations and the next generations.
Yeah. And that's wisdom. I've learned wisdom. You like having that balance in your life and connecting to the natural elements. The elemental parts of this world are crucial for any kind of health.
Yep.
No matter what technology we create, if you do not have a connection to the natural elements, your health will suffer.
Yes.
It's an absolute fact that been proven in multiple facets. So that's always the word I preach. It's like, no matter how high you go with tech, the easy balance is spend time in nature. Spend time in silence. Let yourself get a little bit bored sometimes. And let your imagination go, because as soon as you fill it with something, it's like Next thing. Oh, it's time for bed. Okay, boom, into bed. Sleep, wake up, emails, people. What do you want? Oh, and right away, there's no. So your nervous system's, and then it's just walking around like this, without the flux. That is the experience.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of the irony built in the phrase of what younger people were saying, like touch grass.
Yeah, touch
Like,
grass.
Yeah, like quite literally as well. Like
For real.
that could be your simplest thing. If there's a patch of grass near you, like if I was stressed out and I just walked barefoot, not even barefoot, but preferably barefoot.
take your damn
but
socks
like
off.
lay down on grass, I'd just be like, all right.
Yep.
It's not so bad.
Don't forget moss. Moss is underrated.
Yeah, we're fortunate here to have mega
We do have
moss.
moss, but
We
I
got.
feel like everyone could find a patch of grass.
Yeah, you can find your grass. We've got moss. It's better. You hit it with the.
Yeah, I feel like it's been a trend on the episodes to end off.
Oh, we're already done?
Yeah, we're
Roughly.
not yet. We're gonna hit this finale.
That's
how it rolls.
What are you hopeful about right now?
Hmm.
Or what brings you hope?
A lot of things bring me hope, actually. I think because I'm in my tita auntie era, I feel very hopeful about the next generation. I feel nervous about the world that they're going to be living in, but I feel hopeful because they are going to be raised by so many dope friends and humans that are in my life that are incredible human beings that are imparting all the wisdom, all the knowledge, so that they can handle whatever comes next. Climate change, politics, blah, 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 whatever. But I also feel that sense of like commitment. And that's what I define as also being in my tita era, is like this sense of commitment of not just the next generation that's coming up, but also like my parents' generation, the senior generation, and not forgetting them and leaving them behind, but also like learning as much as I can from them and what they've learned and what they've gone through. I think that's why like it's important to me to be capturing those stories and archiving those stories and asking those questions. And right now I'm in the process of figuring out how I can creatively share that and really speak to the next generation. So yeah, I feel hopeful in, Gen Alpha and Beta, whatever comes next.
I don't even know what comes after. It's like, Gen Z came after millennials and Gen Alpha, and then there's something after that. They'll just continue.
Yeah.
Boomers will be a thing of the past. Even though people call me boomer, I'm like,
you are not. There's Gen X that comes after
Gen
boomer.
X after me, and then boomer was my parents.
That's just rude. Don't call them a boomer.
Yeah, my grandparents, like, I don't even know, what was that they were in World War II, so I'm like the WW2ers.
But yeah, hopeful about that, and hopeful about the current humans who are out here driven by a purpose of balancing the powers that be right now, because we are in an imbalance of dictators around the world. And like there are people who are extremely brilliant and smart in technology, in journalism, in art, in environmentalism, etc., that is like being the balancing act and pushing back. And I think we're part of that as well. And so I think that makes me extremely hopeful, because we're not going to just be steamrolled here.
So say we all.
Into oblivion. No thanks.
Oh.
Yeah.
Should we end it with a shape, a sound?
Yeah.
How about a sugar, sugar, sugar?
Okay. 3, 2, 1 together, okay?
All right.
3, 2,
2,
1.
Sugar, sugar, sugar.
Thanks for tuning
in. Bye. Wait, you have to explain to me who's still opening the door, holding the door. Why are you holding the door?
Alex?
That's for you.
We will do it together. You grab your door, I'll grab my door. We open the door, Still Holding the Door is an ode to chivalry, still existing. We're, holding the door for a woman to walk through. We're still holding the door. We're trying to be inspirational in the way that like chivalry still exists. It ain't dead.
And I'm gonna do the Toronto version and say, holding the door still.